in love. We must be in love. We must be in love.
Hello and welcome to the Bachelor podcast with Nicole and Matt. This is the show where we discuss the whole family of Bachelor reality TV relationship shows on ABC. This is episode number 60 of our podcast, and we're going to discuss the episode of The Bachelorette that aired the night of Monday, July the 2nd. And this is a spoiler-free podcast. We're going to review what happened in the show, but we do not know which lucky suitor ends up with Emily Maynard at the end of the show, because we're just like that. That's how we roll. Like, leave us alone. So my name is Matt, and I am here with my co-host, my beautiful wife, Nicole. Nicole?
Matt?
How are you?
I am well. I love Hometown Date episodes.
They're really, like, the best,
They are.
because it's not just the two people that you've seen interacting the whole time. It's the whole, like, universe that these, you know, bachelors or bachelorettes live in, and it's cool to see them in their environment.
It is.
Go ahead.
So we start out this episode with Emily going home, but before we get there, we're going to read an email that we received.
All right. Some feedback, just a little feedback we'll read this week.
This is from Josie. And Josie says, "Hi, Nicole and Matt. First, I want to say I'm so sorry for your loss. My grandma passed away several years ago, and it was so hard. I hope you take comfort in all the amazing memories of your grandmother. Speak of her often, and you will keep her memory alive. Second, I want to say, missed you and so glad you're back. I first started listening to you when I found you on Facebook last season during Ben's run, one of my least favorite Bachelor seasons."
It was pretty awful.
I, like both of you, am loving this season. Love Emily and love the men. I have to agree with Nicole that if Ari looked like Sean, it would be all over, but in the end, she will choose Ari. Can't wait to watch Monday, and then, of course, listen to your recap. Love it. Keep up the good work. Your fan, Josephine. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. That's such a sweet email.
We appreciate all of the feedback that we've been getting. Obviously, we can't read everything, but we really, really appreciate.
Yeah.
So if you've written to us, this is just a broad thank you so much. We do read everything we get.
Yes, we do. And this has been an amazing season, much better than the season of last with Bill Ben.
He was horrendous.
I mean, this season, we didn't even get a chance to talk about it because we weren't recording. The Muppets were on.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This season has had it all.
It has.
And not only have we had these great guest stars, but we've had amazing bachelors, a great bachelorette, and she has her work cut out for her at this point.
She does.
It is.
This is rough. Well, so let's start with this episode.
All right.
So Emily goes home to see Ricky, and then we're forced to look back and see scenes of each guy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The pros
they
of
basically
each guy.
have to pry my eyelids open to keep watching these recaps. They're pretty painful, but
We see a little scene of Emily and Ari on a roller coaster. I'm like, did we actually see that in the episode?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
When did they even go to an amusement park? Was that at Dollywood? That must have been at Dollywood.
I guess, but we didn't see them on a roller coaster. I don't remember them on a roller coaster. Maybe I was falling asleep.
There's the metaphorical roller coaster
Right.
of the girlfriend from last week. But
There you go. So we start out, first hometown date is Chris, and it's in Chicago. I love Chicago.
Oh, yeah, we went there. We've talked about this before. Yeah,
We've been
we went
there.
there.
It's so great. So Chris, I didn't know he was a first-generation Polish-American.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. They go to this Polish restaurant. Chris gets the award for the longest toast in history. He's like, poor Emily's holding up her
He doesn't even
glass.
make a toast. He doesn't even say, like, here's to...
no.
He's just like, and I'm so excited.
I'm sorry about last week.
Sorry about, like what?
Chris's sisters are really pretty.
Yeah.
Very pretty family.
And none of them really look alike all that much. They all kind of have a distinct...
No. I
look.
thought his family would look like him, but they don't. The dad sits down to chat with Emily and a little one-on-one. Emily asks Chris's dad if he thinks that Chris is ready to be a dad, blah, blah, blah. You know, the dad says, I guess so. Mom chats with Chris. Sister chats with Emily. So a lot of one-on-ones going on. the sister says something really important. She says to Emily, if you know that Chris isn't the one that you're going to pick in the end, please don't lead him on. Please let him go.
Yeah, and we know how
Right.
that turned out. When Emily was talking with Chris's dad, Emily says to Chris's father, so do you think that Chris has the ability or the maturity to raise a kid? And as soon as she says that, she does a little frown. Just
she
at the
did.
very end of her sentence. I felt like that was kind of what they call a micro expression, where it's a little telltale sign that she had her doubts.
Right. I think you're right.
So I think she's had her doubts about him for a while now.
But I don't know why she has her doubts about him being a dad. I just have my doubts about their chemistry.
Well, though, I mean, she wants in her genetic, hunt for the best mate, the person she's going to be most attracted to is going to be the guy that she thinks is going to be the best dad.
True.
And I think that that's why she has her doubts, because she's not as attracted to him as she is
I think
the
she's
other
not
guys.
attracted to him because he has a nerdy personality.
Nerdy personality?
Yeah, he does.
Explain.
He does.
Explain.
All of you listeners, please back me up. He's not like Sean, Ari, and Jeff they have a cool attitude about them. You know, they're very confident. They come off as just cool is the only word I could really think of. And Chris is I'm sorry, Emily, that he's just nerdy in his personality.
But that nerdy's not the right word. He's uptight. He's uptight or anxious. He has a lot of energy, but nerdy's excuse me.
Yes,
ma'am.
that's what he's like.
He's not.
That's what he's
not
like.
like Big Bang
He
Theory.
is. He is. He
He
doesn't
so
look.
not.
He doesn't look like it, but he comes off like that.
You're off your rocker.
I'm not saying he's nerdy like Big Bang Theory, but I'm saying he's not.
Well, that's what nerdy means.
Okay.
I hate the.
He's not. When it comes to, if I had to pick any of these four guys to be nerdy and be a roommate in the Big Bang Theory, I'd pick Chris.
Oh, okay, I mean, we have to force people. I don't know though. Jeff, he's on a skateboard and.
That's cool to Emily. She thinks he's cool.
He'd probably be more friends with the guys from the Big Bang
I
Theory than
guess.
anyone else. But
I guess.
anyways,
So Chris tells Emily that he's in love with her. Then all of a sudden they walk outside and
Yeah.
there's Polish musicians and dancers, which looked fun.
yeah,
But one thing, and please, listeners of our podcast, tell us what you think. The dad tells Chris that Emily said that she's falling in love with him. Did she say that? I don't remember, and I pressed delete after we watched this episode, so...
yeah, that is really weird.
I feel like
came
that
out of
gave him
left
false
field.
hope,
Yeah.
you know? So, Jeff, here we go, second date, Jeff in Utah. He's at his family's ranch. And what does Emily say?
She says, I didn't know he had a ranch.
Yeah, she's impressed.
She's very impressed by this, and quite frankly, I am too. It's so huge and beautiful. It's almost in the middle of this valley, and
It is.
it's amazing. So Jeff is there, and he's got his whole family. Well, minus two very important people. His mom and his dad,
I'm really disappointed.
who are in the Carolinas doing quote unquote charity work.
It's very weird and
very
sketchy.
curious.
I have a
I mean,
theory.
it's not. I mean, charity work by its definition isn't sketchy, but
No, it's not. But it's just why doesn't he go into detail as to what they're doing? He's just
I mean,
they're doing charity work.
well, you know what though? You never know. It could be religious charity work, and maybe the show doesn't want to be, affiliated with any particular religion
Maybe.
or nonprofit organization. You never
True.
know, how these things go. Ari can't talk about what racing car he races because
Right.
they don't want to give advertising for any particular thing. Although they did let Chantel advertise her funeral home, but
they did. They
that's-
did let Chantal advertise her funeral.
But anyways, but so his parents aren't there, which is a big disappointment.
I know.
But he has his. It's very confusing.
Brothers and
he has his
sister and
brothers and
sister-in-laws
sisters. Oh,
and-
it seemed like he had two sisters
Yeah, and then I think and then a
and
sister-in-law.
a sister-in-law. Then where was the other brother's wife? I thought he was
Maybe
married too.
I don't know. Are they married? Is he married?
I thought he said. Well, I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe he just has one sister. I don't know. So, before that, Jeff shoots his gun, and Emily said, "Who knew Jeff in his skinny jeans was such a good shot?"
Yeah, I was surprised as well.
You know.
And speaking of good shots,
she was really good. She
shot every single one of those clay pigeons. I was very impressed.
So I think Emily's the most nervous visiting Jeff's family. Because Jeff said that he broke up with a girl because his family didn't like her.
Exactly.
So I think she's the most nervous visiting him.
Combine that with the fact that Jeff is, quote-unquote, mysterious, and she
Right.
doesn't know a lot about them. You know, she doesn't know exactly what to expect.
Exactly.
So...
You're right. So Emily meets a lot of relatives. She has a one-on-one with the brother and one of the brothers, and he tells her he thinks she'd be the perfect kind of person to compliment Jeff, which is really nice that he said that.
Yeah.
She has time with Jeff's sisters. Emily said she would move anywhere.
Yeah, that's news to me.
Me too.
I felt like she was always going to be in Charlotte, but...
I'm thinking that's okay with Ricky's father's parents?
To just, like, uproot and move... I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you would think maybe eventually someday they would be willing to settle down somewhere else. I mean, her family still lives in West Virginia, after all. I mean,
Do they? Or is she just from West Virginia?
Oh, that's the impression I get.
Well, the mom was right there in the house that one day.
Yeah, but they're shooting a TV show there, so...
True. What was really cute was Jeff's niece asking Emily to hold her. She's like, "Can you hold me?" That was really sweet, right?
that was really cute. It reminded me of the time you were teaching well, for those listeners who don't know, you are a teacher.
I am.
And on the side, you also teach
piano lessons.
Piano lessons.
So, yeah, I think you're telling the story about my student Jessica.
Yeah.
With her brother.
Her little brother. How old was he?
3, maybe like 2.5, 3.
So he's like up in his mom's arms, like on her hip, and she's like paying you or like saying goodbye.
Right, she's paying you for the lesson with
yeah.
her daughter.
And he gets close to you, or he somehow like leans out.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I want to kiss you."
Yeah.
Like what?
I'm standing there talking to the mom, and I never really had any interactions with this little kid. You know, I see him every week at the house.
Yeah.
But and the mom's holding him. She's like, "Okay, so we'll see you next week." I'm like, "Okay." And all of a sudden, the kid goes to me. He leans forward. He goes, "I want to kiss you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I lean with like my cheek in his face, and he kisses my cheek. It just reminded me of that when Emily was.
Yeah. I was like, well, yeah.
Right?
I was like the same thing. Yeah. That's what I said.
It was really cute.
But.
So Jeff's brother though says.
Yeah.
I've never really seen you excited about wanting to have kids.
I'm glad Jeff's brother brought this up, because we've all been kind of questioning not just motivations, but is Jeff ready for this, since he is sort of like this free spirit. And
right.
They're very clear in his family that that's what they all think of him.
Exactly.
But Jeff's defense is, well, you know, I am with the right person, and Emily's the right person, and I'm ready for this now. So, but I'm kind of nervous, though. Like, what if he say she picks him, they move to Charlotte, and he's like, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm going to start a skateboarding company.
Right.
And so he starts his company, and it doesn't work out. He's probably going to want to move to San Antonio the next week and do the same thing there. And I feel like he's a little too unstable. He's one of my favorites, but I don't know.
He's too mysterious.
There's not too much else that's mysterious about it. I think now that we know that he lives on a ranch and his parents do charity work, what else do we need to know?
True. So Jeff then reads Emily.
And he's a good shot. So,
right.
Yeah.
Jeff reads Emily a note he wrote to her, tells her that he loves her, and you could tell she loves this.
Big points.
She loves this. Big points for Jeff. So our third date is Ari in Arizona. Emily goes to the racetrack to see him. She goes for a ride with him. He's driving pretty fast.
He is.
This little car of his.
And those are Indy cars. They're not NASCAR.
I was learning all about this, yes.
So, yeah, they can go pretty darn fast.
So they're having this little picnic, and Ari's not making Emily feel very confident about this, meeting his parents. He's saying...
But you know, though... Oh, go ahead.
He's saying, you're all American, and my parents are so European.
Yeah, he wasn't really like making her feel confident at all.
No.
But at least he prepared her for the worst because it got pretty ugly, at least in my opinion, when they went to go meet his family. Just his mom came off as so cold and so...
But I don't think she would have come off like that. I don't think she came off cold.
Yeah, it was awkward.
Well, they weren't as nice as the other families, but I don't think... I think if Ari hadn't said anything and just said, my family's gonna love you, don't you worry, I think it would have been fine. But because he said, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens, it made it seem worse.
Right. Maybe if you just said, just so you know, there's a little bit of a language barrier, so it might be awkward at first, but don't worry, they're gonna love you.
Right, exactly.
That would have prepared her. But when the mom sat down on this bed, which is...
No, but what about before that, when she starts speaking in another language?
Oh, yeah.
While Emily's sitting there. That was awkward.
That is awkward.
But then, then the mom takes her in and sits on this random bed in their house.
And she starts grilling Emily, and anyways.
She wants to know what happened with her and Brad. This is the woman that could potentially marry her son, in her defense.
True.
So she's wondering, what's the deal? You were engaged to this guy, and now you broke up, so what happened? And Emily has a really good answer. And she just says, I don't want to say anything bad about Brad. He's a great guy, but it just wasn't for me.
We didn't have that foundation. Now,
right.
She talks a lot about these foundations tonight. It came up several times. Is this a code word for something? I keep wanting to know, what's the... I feel like the one thing that they keep tiptoeing around is Emily's faith, and we all know that was something that was very important to her, and then was brought up.
Right, because we followed her on Twitter, and she used to talk about going to church all the time, and
Exactly.
And Sean brought it up with her. So is that what she's talking about?
Is that what she means by the foundation? I don't really know.
Does she mean that these guys are ready to be? Because she brings up if they're ready to be a dad all the time. Maybe Brad wasn't ready to be a father.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that could be it.
Oh, just a little side note here. I thought it was interesting, Ari's dad's accent, the Dutch accent.
Oh, yeah.
Now, okay, Nicole and I record the show out of New York, the New York area, and so we hear people with the New York accent all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'll save you my impression.
Yeah, save us.
I'm an upstate boy, so I'm not from around here. But the dad has it's almost like a New York accent. It's
his Dutch accent sounds like a New York accent.
And it's so funny. And it's because, a little history lesson.
Teach us, Matt.
That, of course, New York was known as New Amsterdam. And it was originally settled by the Dutch, who bought Manhattan from the Native Americans for 12 beads or something. Which is so awful. No, seriously. It's awful. Oh, gosh. We should be ashamed of ourselves.
We should be. But you're right. The accent sounds very similar to...
He's like, hey, good luck, Dad.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Like what?
Sounds like me and my family.
Yeah, exactly.
So next we have Sean. Well, Ari tells, Emily that he loves her, blah, 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 which we're not surprised about. And then he's ready to propose to Emily. He tells his dad.
Yeah, he said, don't be surprised if I propose to her, and his dad's supportive.
Yeah, he is. So next we have Sean in Dallas, Texas. I love Sean. Next Bachelor. Let's vote for Sean. He lets his huge dogs loose and run towards Emily as she gets out of the car.
Yeah, but they're sweet. They don't do anything to her. They don't even
sweet.
Jump up.
No, they don't. He's his dogs are even perfect.
Exactly.
This guy is perfect. So they have picnic in the park.
He's wearing some sort of weird V-cut Smee shirt. I don't really understand that.
He's alright. Made his muscles look big.
Yeah. No, he doesn't need help in that department.
Yeah. They have picnic in the park. So then they go meet the family, and of course his parents live in this beautiful house, and his niece runs up to him and jumps in his arms.
I was like, is this pre-planned? Were they okay, now when he comes in, make sure you jump in his arms so that she knows that he's...
So Sean says he has to tell Emily something.
It gets super awkward and quiet.
He says that he lives at home with his parents, and then he shows Emily this horrific, messy room.
Now, wait, listeners. As we're coming to this date, or as each date goes on, Nicole keeps turning to me and is saying, who's the one that lives at home? Who's got the messy
We
room?
saw it as a promo for this episode. that
Right.
One of the the suitors still is at home and shows Emily this messy room. So after we have Chris, I'm like, oh, it's not Chris. Then we have Jeff.
And you were hoping it was Chris.
I was hoping it was Chris because I don't like Chris. And then it wasn't Ari. I'm like, oh no, it's Sean. Oh no. So
he had us going, but then as soon as he said, so Emily's looking at me like I blah blah blah. So then it was clear that it was a joke. But this is the problem with Sean and his family.
Yeah.
As we noticed in the closing credits, they also did another joke with like steamed armadillo.
Right.
Like when his family like does like a weird practical joke like this, they're like, well, we just made a joke. And they just kind of like have these like wry smiles.
and
like
Emily doesn't make it any better. She doesn't laugh. She just goes,
she's just too polite.
yes. Oh.
You pulled a good one.
Yeah.
Like when someone makes a joke, like first of all, when you make a joke like this, you're supposed to go, ha ha, gotcha,
Right.
ha ha ha. Like let them know it's okay to laugh. Like
Sean's like, just kidding. And then they walk out of the messy room. I would have said, I'm totally kidding. I had my mom set this all up for us and make it messy on purpose and blah, 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 blah. Nothing.
or like when they walk outside his family and they're all like, you would expect them to be like, ha ha ha,
Emily,
oh,
what'd you think of the
oh, we got
joke?"
you.
Right.
But they're like, wow, we're so sorry about that, Emily. Like, what? Come on.
But you know what? At least they have a sense of humor.
Well, that was my big concern with Sean from the beginning, is that he didn't seem to have one.
He
So
does.
this shows us that he does.
He does.
And it's a good one.
Leave my Sean alone. He has a good sense of humor.
Wow. Okay.
So Sean sits down with Dad. Sean says he's not normally the most open guy with girls, but Emily has changed that. And then Emily and Dad sit down, and Dad says Sean has really opened up, and Sean and Mom sit down, and he says, this is really, really important. And this, I think, shows why Sean is the way he is. Mm-hmm. When Sean and his mom sit down, his mom tells him that he would be blessed to have Emily. And that says a lot. And that's why Sean is so humble and so sweet. Because his mom's not like, well, she would be blessed to have you. You're my son. You're my baby. She says she's a really great girl and you'd be blessed to have her.
Good call.
Do you know what I
Nicole.
mean?
Wow.
And that shows that his family has taught him to treat others the way, that he'd want to be treated. And
Right.
it just, that said it all.
Right.
And I forget whose mom it was. I think it was Ari's mom. I'm pretty sure it was Ari's mom. It might have been Chris's mom that said, well, he's my baby. When they were talking to Emily by themselves.
I don't remember which.
And about their son. It's like, when a mom says that about their son, that's a little,
like to their
to the future
fiance. Or
yeah,
whatever.
I just feel like,
Yeah.
you know what? Sean's mom showed why he is the way he is. Because he was raised that way.
You're dropping science tonight, man.
Well, you gave a little history lesson, so...
You're giving us a deep psychological.
What do you think about
screaming here.
Sean running after Emily's car for one more kiss?
It earns him points. This is his MO, though. He's constantly breaking the rules
He is.
and stealing kisses on the sly.
So, now we have the dates are over. So Emily pulls up to a hotel, not to the Bachelor Mansion.
Not to the Bachelor Mansion. They're currently spraying it down, disinfecting it in time for Bachelor Pad, which airs July 23rd, apparently.
Wow. But they haven't used the Bachelor Mansion this whole season, right?
Well, Ben got it pretty dirty, so they
okay.
it's taking extra time
Gotcha. With
to clear it
Courtney
out.
there, yeah.
Exactly.
So we have Emily's time with Chris Harrison. She gets teary-eyed thinking about sending one of the guys home, blah, blah, blah. But I have to say, these are probably the best hometown dates of any Bachelor, Bachelorette.
They've gone so well, with the exception of Ari, in my
Ari's
opinion.
was okay. Overall, I mean, if that was the worst, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
There was no drama, no weird family, no don't you hurt my son,
No psychic
daughter.
moms.
No,
Exactly.
Everyone was pretty good. So we have Ari gets the first rose, Jeff, and then Sean. So Chris is leaving. So Emily and Chris sit down on a bench, and Chris gets a little psycho, says he doesn't understand, and he says, how much faster could your other relationships have possibly moved?
He's like, I said I love you. Which is a good point. I mean, that her whole thing as well, I've had other relationships that went deeper, a lot sooner, but he did say I love you. I mean, what more? I mean, it's just not there. It's just not
Right.
there as much with him as it is the other guys.
Right.
And
So, oh well.
that's that.
But I think I blame his dad for telling him that Emily told me that she's falling in love with you.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. Maybe I missed it, but of course he's going to think that she's going to pick him when your dad says that to you.
Obviously.
So I have my uh-oh moment. When Emily tells Chris, maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and think that I made a mistake.
Ooh.
Why would she say that? Why, Emily? You've done so well this whole season. You've done a great job as the Bachelorette. You've said wonderful things. You've kicked guys off when they should have been kicked off. You sent guys home when they should have been sent home. Why would you say that to someone? And you know what? That kind of statement doesn't allow Chris to move on. When you say that. When you say, maybe I made a mistake. Well then, how's he supposed to move on? I'm really upset with her.
Yeah.
Even though he annoys me, And then Chris says in the limo, I'm 10 times the man than all those other dudes out there. Like, all right, sure, Chris. I'm really upset with her for saying that. So that's my moment.
Yeah, that was a good one and well deserved. Yeah, I'm surprised, but overall it was a good episode. I think we learned a lot about the families, and it was nice to see where Jeff came from. I was expecting him to, he could have had any kind of family. He could have been raised by wolves or came from a lab or something. But
True, from a lab. Well, we want to thank you for listening to the Bachelor podcast. Feel free to contact us. We have a bunch of ways you can contact us. You could email us, thebachelorpodcast@gmail.com.
That's thebachelorpodcast@gmail.com.
You can follow us on Twitter with username Bachelor Podcast.
That's right.
You can leave us a voicemail.
Oh, we love voicemails.
Our voicemail line is 631-223-8435. I'll say it again. It's area code 631-223-8435. And please, before we leave, we'd love for you to leave us an iTunes review. If you have a moment, we would love to get an iTunes review from you.
Because that is how people usually find the show, and I was noticing the other day I was typing in Bachelor Podcast into iTunes, and it wasn't one of the first ones that comes up anymore.
What?
Yeah, seriously. We used to be like the number one and like...
Well, we were the only one.
Well, true. I think there's like maybe one other one out there, maybe two other ones.
No, yeah, but when we started, we were the only...
Right, we are the original Bachelor podcast. But, yeah, now we don't even come up anywhere. I think it was because of our hiatus. So help us get back on the top, guys. We need you guys to all rally around and leave us a review and give us a rating and tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your mom about the Bachelor podcast, because we'd love to have more people join the family. It's a good time. So great to hear from you guys this week. Thanks for your support, as always. And we are signing out. Matt and Nicole. We'll see you guys next week. Adios.
We must be